Hello, my name is Leah Kahn, and I'm a poet. And today I'm going to teach you how to write a poem. Writing poems can be scary. Maybe you are unsure of how to start, or how to make all the words rhyme. Or maybe you're just worried your poem won't be any good. Well, I'm here to ease your worries and ease your way into writing poetry. The best way to write a poem is just to start. First, think about what you want to write about. You could be trying to capture a feeling, a moment that happened, or just expressing gratitude for the beautiful world around us. I write a lot of poems about trees and how blessed we are to live in a place like Oregon. Now that you know what you want to write about, pin the first line of your poem. And don't worry if it's not any good. Not every poem I write is great, and that's okay. Every time you write, you get a little better. Sometimes when I write poetry, I have to find the poem one word at a time. And other times, whole lines of poems just pop into my head altogether. So it's okay if you have trouble finding your words. They'll come in time. Now that you have your first line written, read it back to yourself and see if you can hear the rhythm of the line. People often think a poem has to rhyme, and that's not true. However, they do have to have a beat throughout that draws all the words together. So to show you how the beat of a poem would work, I'm going to be using a poem I've already written called When the Muse Speaks. And I want you to see if you can really hear the beat of the poem. All right. When the muse speaks, I listen. When she spills sonnets of sadness on me that sting my skin and scar my soul, I cry words. So could you hear the rhythm in that? They have a flow and a beat to them that ties all the ideas in the poem together. When writing the next line of your poem, see if you can match the rhythm of the first and make the two lines flow. Now, if the lines don't sound right together, you've probably broken the rhythm. This could be because you used too many syllables or not enough. Try using more or fewer words until the beat sounds just right. As you continue writing your poem, think about the words you're using. Are they harsh sounding, or soft, or light, or angry? Do they convey the message you want your poem to say? Make your words matter. Something I really like to do in poetry is alliteration, where all the beginnings of the words in a phrase have the same starting sound. For example, I'm going to use my poem When the Muse Speaks again. So, the first line, when the muse speaks, I listen. When she spills sonnets of sadness on me that sting my skin and scar my soul, I cry words. So, when you hear that sound repeated, it creates almost like bitterness in the speaker's voice. Compare that to a couple lines later that says, when she sings of stars in the sea and the sky, of the sun that sets on a lullaby, I listen, listless, restless, while my ears bleed and my soul sighs and my breath comes out in rhythm. Now the alliteration there is much more soft and peaceful and calming. So think about the sounds your words make, and if they match the feeling you want to convey. Keep writing your poem. So some other things you can include in your poem is imagery, where you capture the natural beauty of something in words, or metaphors, where you compare two unlike things. Personification, which I personally love, where you make the sun or the moon or the stars or trees or birds, something that is not human, have human characteristics. It's lovely. I love writing love poems to the sun or to the moon or to the stars and imagining that they can come back and speak back to me. Maybe you decide you want your lines to rhyme. Go ahead, go wild, it's your poem. Lastly, make sure your poem ends on a strong note. Why does it end where it does? Does the ending of the poem match the beginning of your poem? or contrast with it? Or does the poem change throughout? These are all the things you get to decide. Write your last line, and you've finished a poem. Congratulations. Now go through and reread your poem, always going back to that rhythm to make sure your words sound right together, and that they convey the message and feeling you want your poem to convey. Maybe you need to change a word or a line, or maybe it's perfect just the way it is. And if it is, good job to you. Now that you are officially a poet, you can continue to write poems. The best way to become a better poet is to read and write poetry. I find that starting out reading children's books of poetry is a really easy way to get into poetry writing, because the poems are not too complicated to understand, and the poetry style is easy to mimic when you are first starting out. Some books of poetry I like for kids are Talking Like the Rain, A Child's Garden of Verses by Robert Louis Stevenson, and Everything by Shel Silverstein is just fantastic. In 2018, I wrote a poem a day for a whole year, and my poetry improved drastically. So the more you write, the better you get. Just start writing a poem every day, just a small one, and see where you get to. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you go on to write lots more poetry.